I was in Toorak recently and I saw a building from across the street amidst all the other grey buildings that stood out. It was in blue, gold, and cream, a colour scheme that I've always liked because it looks very luxurious and very Greco-Roman, Mediterranean. And I got closer and saw that the brand identity and the styling of this business was more than just there to sell food and drink. It was selling an experience, and I thought this is a great example of how branding can work to the advantage of a business when it's so thoroughly thought out. Pierluigi is an Italian cafe named after its founders, Pierluigi Ostuni and his wife Amber, and it's been fully realized with the help of an agency called BrandWorks. They're specialists in hospitality branding, and they offer an end-to-end service from brand strategy to identity and interior design, where every element is crafted to reflect this cohesive vision. Pierluigi is inspired by the culture of Rome, the refined simplicity, the warm hospitality, but that creates more than just a cafe. It's created a lifestyle environment that celebrates Italian food, coffee, and social connection. You can see the Italian influence across the entire brand identity by the way that the designers aren't using too much. There's a refined color palette and aesthetic, but they haven't forgotten any of the details. Every touchpoint has been considered alongside the overarching brand concept. From the napkins to the cards to the price tags, the coffee machine, the flooring in the entryway, the upholstery, the coffee art, everything has been considered and branded in a beautiful way. But this isn't just about throwing a logo around. All those little branded details reinforce how much the owners care about the quality of the product and service they're delivering. They obviously believe in it and they want you to believe in their brand as well. The fact that they've put in the extra care and attention means that you go in there thinking, oh, these owners actually care about their business. That means they must care about the food. They must care about their reputation. So all these things matter in creating a brand that reflects their true passion and their true interest in you as the customer. The interior design through the materials, the finishes, and the lighting obviously reflect the brand vision quite clearly. But another outstanding feature of this brand identity is the uniforms. The staff are dignified in these neat, sophisticated, classically designed vests, shirts, and slacks that create this subconscious, positive, calm, and enthusiastic energy that flows onto the customer, which is great for improving, customer retention and brand loyalty. So what I love about Pierluigi is that branding and design has been used as a business decision from the very beginning, not as an afterthought, not as we need a menu urgently, let's design one in Canva, or we need extra seating, let's go down to IKEA and grab some chairs and tables. You can see internal harmony between the identity and the interior design. And that brand system can only be developed if design is brought in from the start. Aside from all that, and knowing that Pierluigi is meant to be experienced in person, eating and drinking at their Toorak or Chaston locations, the digital experience forms part of this brand identity. So I wanted to have a look at their website and social accounts to know what kind of brand consistency and experience you get online. So let's have a look at their website and social channels. So this is the Pierluigi website. What we're looking at is a one-page website. You can't do much on it, and I guess most customers aren't going to come and spend time here. But if you are ordering, you want some catering, or just to contact them, this is the place. So the time on the site's going to be limited. I would have thought, though, this would be a nice opportunity to have moving imagery, perhaps of people eating and drinking in Rome or in the Italian countryside, or even at one of Pierluigi's locations, because that would probably entice me as someone visiting the site to go, wow, the food looks amazing, or the people look like they're having a great time. I want to go to Chaston or Toorak to check it out for myself. Another thought I had on the imagery was the relevancy of the building that we're looking at. Most people aren't going to know what that building means. It's obviously in Italy, perhaps in Rome. Maybe it has some special meaning to the founders, but for most people, we don't get it. We saw in the original branding that there was an illustration of the Colosseum behind the logo. Perhaps that would have been more relevant, or we would have built a connection between the image and the identity if we saw the Colosseum perhaps on this website. So the building is a little unknown. So just as I was editing this video, I realized that in one of the windows of that building, there's a couple, or two people at least, who are eating or drinking in the window. So at least there's this essence in there of social connection over food and drink, which I didn't see in the beginning. I thought the building image was completely irrelevant. It's sort of changed my perspective on it now. It's super subtle. I think it would be nicer if it was a little more obvious, because if I missed it, maybe others are missing it too, especially when I'm paying attention to it and most others probably not going to examine it as much as I am. But when I saw that, I was pleasantly surprised and thought, okay, I can be reassured that concept is in there ever so slightly. The other challenge I have with this image is the framing and the cropping. I do get that it's taken from perhaps within a dark area, so you're looking out onto this building, which is illuminated by the sun. So there is some shadow being cast on the building on an angle on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, however, it's almost parallel to the edge of the browser, so it looks like the images have been cropped off a little too far in. And I would like to see the image bleed out to the edge, just so it looks more complete. It's just an extra bit of dark black area that I visually can't make sense of. So that's my only thought on the image, the relevancy and the framing. Other than that, moving image would have been nice. But let's have a look at the Instagram page. So this is the Instagram for Pierluigi Australia. I do love how consistently they've brought through the identity, from typography to styling of the imagery to the nature of the reels, and even giving us a glimpse into the personality of the man behind the brand, Pierluigi, and his wife Amber. So that's a really nice touch as well. I think it's super important when it is a brand that represents a person. So the content team has done a great job of curating and designing for this platform. So that's my experience with Pierluigi. I think BrandWorks has done an amazing job on the brand identity and the interior, as to be expected, because they are specialists in hospitality branding. But I think it does emphasize the value of bringing in design thinking at the very beginning of the process, making it a business decision so that as time goes on, inconsistencies and urgencies don't cause the brand to fall apart. Having a solid brand system in place from the beginning that has a really strong underlying concept will just mean more memorability and more favorable interactions with the customers that you're trying to reach. So that's it from me. Until the next design review, see you later.